probably noticed a bunch of people online saying that Phil Spencer needs to step down because, well, Redfall happened. And the sooner we collectively get over our PTSD of how bad that game was, the better I think we're all going to be. Yeah, probably. So this is flat out delusional for two real reasons. The first is the chain of command. If we're going to have people step down because Redfall failed, it's going to be the lead developer Redfall, the head of Arcane Studios, a bunch of people at ZeniMax, some low tier people at Xbox, then VPs at Xbox. Phil Spencer is never even going to come close to being told he needs to step down because Redfall failed. Now, Big Daddy Microsoft might step in and say, hey, Spencer, explain to us why you let ZeniMax continue to operate independently when that is flat out one of the dumbest things anyone could have done. That could happen. ZeniMax might be looking at some restructuring coming down the road, but Spencer is not looking to lose his job. And now for the second real reason why it's just not going to happen. Game Pass. So I'm going to show you some math from Game Pass and then explain what this math means and why Spencer will never lose his job because of Game Pass. So within 1 quarter, the only available information we have, Game Pass made 541 million. I'm sorry, I'm going to try that again. 541.5 million in just 1 quarter. Now, if we take that and extrapolate to a whole year, multiply by 4, we have 2,166,000,000. If we take that 3 years, the average development games development window, we have $6,498,000,000. And 5 years, which we're really seeing the new AAA dev length, you have $10,830,000,000. So what does this mean? So the average cost to develop a AAA game is about $80 million. Within 1 quarter, Game Pass earns enough revenue to pay for the development of 6.76 AAA games. In 1 year, they can fund 27 AAA games. Paid in full. Over 3 years, 81.22 AAA games. In 5 years, they could pay for the development of 135.37 AAA games. Now that's just AAA. Indie games cost between $50,000 to $700,000 to develop. So, in 1 year, Xbox can fund 3,094.28 indie games. In 5 years, they can fund a whopping 15,471.42 indie games in full. Just from Game Pass. And keep in mind, people buy games off of Game Pass. So they don't just have Game Pass. Sometimes people just use Game Pass to find out they like a game, and then they'll buy it. And then there's DLC and other revenue generation methods. But what about AA games? Well, most AA games take under 10 million to develop. So within 1 year, Xbox can finance 216.6 AA games. In 5 years, they can fund a whopping 1,083 AA games in full. That means if Microsoft could find people to develop these games in 5 years, they could fund 1,083 AA games, or 135.37 AAA games, or 15,471.42 indie games. That is a lot of financial independence for the Xbox division, where they can now publish games off of Game Pass revenue before any revenue from DLC, before any revenue from additional purchases, before any revenue from microtransactions from free-to-play games or season passes. So when you look at that, and then you look at the chain of command, is it really reasonable to expect that Phil Spencer should step down? I'm going to leave it there for the day. Now, if you want any of the information I have mentioned today, it's going to be in the description. Have a good day.